I'm ready. Okay, I want to welcome everyone back again to the City Treasurer's Student Intern Program. And this is our second week of the program. Of course, I'm Wanda Brown, and I'm the City Treasurer of Inglewood. And I've been the treasurer for Inglewood for 20 years. And it is an elected position, so every 4 years I have to knock on doors, you see, and ask the voters to vote for me again. So basically what I do, as I mentioned last time, is I do what? I invest the city's money. Does anyone remember how much money I said that I mentioned that I actually oversee? You remember?
It was $1 billion.
It's actually yes. Well, it's getting close. It's about $383 million that I oversee. So we're going to be talking about some of the terms that we talked about last time. Remember last time we talked about what a bond is? And what is a bond? How many remember that? A bond is, yes.
A loan.
Say your name until I kind of remember them.
Shavonda.
Siobhan is a loan, very good. And we said there are what? 3 kinds of bonds. How many remember the kinds of bonds that there are? You remember the kinds of bonds? And it's not bail bond now.
Company bond.
Who else might remember the kinds of bonds? Now you're not reading your notes, I see. You're not reading your homework. Remember that there's 3 kinds of bonds. There's corporate bonds. What other kind of bonds are there? We said
Savings bond?
yeah, there are savings bonds, and municipalities also issue bonds, and governments issue bonds. And again, bonds are loans as opposed to stock. Stock is just the opposite of a bond. A bond is a loan. What do we say a stock is? Ownership. You have ownership in an organization. That's what stock is. And we talked about interest, and interest is what? Who remember what interest is? Yes.
Investment money in different companies.
And basically it's the cost of money. And then we talked about, we didn't talk about a budget. Who knows what a budget is? Yes.
A certain amount of money you have to spend.
Absolutely. So, you have a limit. So a budget is really like, it's a plan. It's a financial plan. That's what a budget is. And we're going to be working with a budget briefly later on today. But we're going to get started. First, we're going to have our luncheon first, and we're going to get on with the program. But again, I said to be sure you be on time next week, because we're going to be visiting one of the studios called 1061, where they're going to show you how sound recording is done, mastering is done, commercial spots, audio editing, songwriting, voice over, CD release debut facilities, film and video editing, and also music video production, and film and TV show concepts. So it should be a fun time. So be sure you be on time, because the bus is going to leave roughly about 4:15. So we're going to have our lunch between about 3:30 and about hopefully no more than 20 minutes, so that we can start the class then and move on. Now today we're going to spend a bit of time with the mayor's office. So we're going to go over and visit the mayor's office. And we're going to go also to our computer department, so you can learn about our computer facilities. And then later on, if we still have a little bit of time left, we're going to go and visit our police chief. Okay? So we're going to have our lunch right now, then we're going to get into the program. All right?
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're going to have the ladies first, and then the guys. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we're back in session, and we're going to have each one just again go around and introduce themselves and just say what school you attend. Okay, so your name now loud and clear, and we're going to start from my left.
Okay. Stand up. My name is Maria Perla. I go to Inglewood High,
And what would you like to be also? You can mention that.
Veterinarian.
Veterinarian.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Let's stand up.
No, you can be seated.
My name is Samuel. I attend Crozier Middle School, and I would like to play soccer when I grow up.
Okay.
My name is Brian Gonzalez. I attend Inglewood High School, and I would like to be a doctor when I grow up.
All right.
I'm Joelle. I go to Morningside High now. And I would like to be a beautician.
My name is Marquis Sykes. I attend Inglewood High School, and I would like to be a successful rap artist and music producer.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Shavonda. I go to Morningside High School, and I like to be a film/music producer.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Johnson. I go to Warren Lane. When I grow up, I want to be a music producer.
Hi, my name is Joshua Nieves. I go to Dana Middle School and I like to play the guitar in the band.
Hi, my name is Marita Escobar and I attend Inglewood High School and I would like to be a counselor when I grow up.
I'm Dylan. I go to Vista Academy Middle School and I would like to be a football or basketball player.
I'm Evan Timber Parker. I go to Coast Christian School and I would like to be a video game artist.
Outstanding. These are our future leaders that's coming up here, and because everyone knows the importance of education, even those of you who want to be athletes, you need a good education, so you need to know how to do what when you become a success. If you become a successful athlete, how to manage your money. How to manage your money. So many of our athletes who have been very, very successful after their perhaps 6-8 years of playing in professional sports, perhaps in basketball or football, not knowing how to manage their money, become broke because they didn't manage their money very well. They spent it on things like perhaps jewelry, shoes, clothes, and all of their entourage, all of their friends, their buddies that's running around with them. Because as long as you got plenty of money, you're gonna have what? Plenty of buddies. So you wanna have a good education so that you'll know how to manage your money. So even though you may want to be a professional athlete, you want to make sure you take some business courses, take some courses in accounting, take some courses in finance. You see, so that you will know how to manage your money. And again, now speaking of money, where do we think money even comes from?
Machine.
Yes.
Machine that they made. A machine.
A machine. Now say your name also. Evan? Yes. Say your name.
Joshua.
Joshua, where do you think money comes from?
Tree.
From trees. Now, have you seen any money on trees lately?
No. I mean because it's paper. They have paper comes from trees.
Oh, you mean the source? Any other thoughts? Yeah, you gotta have a source of it. Yes.
It's printed.
It is printed. So first, it comes from what?
Trees.
Yes.
Like regular paper that they use, they bought, and then they put it to the machine where it comes out the real money.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts where money comes from? Yes. Say your name now.
Shavonda.
Shavonda.
The government.
The government. Very good. The U.S. Mint does what? They print the money, and then they do what? Then they give it to the U.S. Treasury, and then they do what? Then it goes to the
stores,
to the federal banks, the federal branches, and then it goes to the banks. So there's 4 steps as to how money actually. Now you need to take notes because you're going to have a final exam now. You're just sitting here listening. You want to know this because we will have a comprehensive final exam. Again, yeah, this is it comes from, again, the U.S. Mint first. Well, you should have brought paper with you, but what you can do, you can write on back of perhaps one of your documents here. Like that there, so you turn it over and take your notes there. But you should have brought notebook paper with you. Good, okay. Again now, the first step is U.S. Mint, then the U.S. Treasury, then the federal branches, then the banks. 4 steps. That's where money actually starts. Yes.
How do stores get money?
Well, when people, of course, come in, of course, you have to have jobs and you work, you see, and you get paid a check, and then you go to stores and then you shop. Your parents shop like the clothes that you have on.
How do the stores get money before anybody buys it? Like, how do they get the money to make the places and all that kind of stuff?
Well, these are the 4 steps that I just mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yes, The Mint first, then it goes to the Treasury, then it goes to the federal branches, then it goes to the banks.
Remember all the things. What's the next one? The federal.
Okay. Now last week, and speaking of money, we talked about, again, some pretty important concepts. And we talked about what? Again, bonds, and we said there were 3 kinds of bonds basically. The corporate bonds, the issue bonds, and why the corporation issue bonds. What did we say some of the reasons that they issue bonds? Well, yeah, to make money, sometimes they want to they want to expand their operations, or they may need it, you know, they're just short of cash, so they'll issue bonds or sell bonds. Who else does that? The government, cities does it, and the cities might sell bonds to do what? Some of the older young people here. What do you think, Mr. Sykes?
Not really sure.
Not really sure. Well, like, you know, you see cities, they have to have what, sewer systems? That's not free. All of that has to be, somebody got paid for it, a sewer system. You know, where all the garbage and everything goes, and then it's treated and it goes out to the ocean, but a sewer system. And also bridges, you know, all of the cities that do have bridges, that's paid for through the issuance of bonds. Yes.
Shouldn't oceans be blocked off here? Because all the garbage goes into it.
But keep in mind, it's treated before it goes there.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah, it's treated before, the sewage is treated before it goes into the ocean. And then we have the U.S. government that also issue bonds, and they issue bonds sometimes for different kinds of governmental activities, and also to, you know, hopefully pay down this national debt that's really huge. Okay? Now, what I want you to do next is to, again, before we do that though, what did we say a budget is? Because we're going to have homework on budgets. A budget is a financial plan. That's what a budget is. Remember, when you all are successful people, you're gonna have to live within your budget. When we talked about good credit, and what's the importance of having good credit? Yes.
So if you go to borrow, if you go to get something but you don't have the money, they would allow you to get, and pay them back later.
Very good. And then we said good credit is based upon these credit scores we talked about. Remember those credit scores? Those credit scores are based upon what? How well you what? That's right, how well you pay or don't pay your bills, you know. And we mentioned that there are three major credit agencies. One is Experian, and the other is TransUnion, and the other one is Equifax. And they have a numbering system that they use to measure how well you pay your bills. I think TransUnion and Experian, their system goes from like 501 to 990. So if you have a credit score of say of only say 500, do you think you're gonna get
No.
very much credit? No,
Probably
because that's saying that you're not paying your bills very well. Because see, it goes from 501 to 990. So in today's market, you're going to need a credit score, you know, somewhere in at least a 6 or 7 or 8, you know, depending on the situation. Okay, and then Equifax, their system only goes from 350 to, I think it's 350 to 850. So theirs is don't go any higher than 850. So if you have a credit score with Equifax in the high 6s and high 7s, that's a pretty good credit score. So keep in mind, you don't want to get in debt, you know, you want to watch your debt, you know. As I mentioned, when you're in college, you're going to get all kind of credit cards that just literally will be offered to you. So you want to use them wisely. Never put more on your credit cards than you can afford to pay off, you see, the very next month. Because credit can be good, but it can be bad also if you misuse it. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to live within your budget. Now we said a stock as opposed to a bond. We said a bond is what? That's really a loan. So stock then again is ownership in companies, right? And we see what's happening today in our newspapers that the bonds are going up and down, and mostly down, and the stock is going down, and so that's really having a serious impact on our economy. Okay, and what did we say interest was? Yes.
interest is how much money you have?
Well, not how much money you have, but
How
it's
much
really,
you get.
basically, it's the cost of money, the cost of borrowing money. Or if you have money in the bank, then the bank, of course, is gonna pay you interest on your money. Remember, we said if you have, say like $1,000 in the bank, and the bank is gonna pay you 10% interest, if it's just simple interest, you're gonna get how much money? More money. 10% of 1,000 is what? Say your name.
Brian.
Brian, how much money, how much interest are you gonna get with, if the bank is gonna give you 10%?
10% of 2,000.
Of 1,000.
1,000.
Little
Is
numbers.
it 100?
Very good. You're gonna get your $1,000 back plus $100 because you're not letting them have your money for free, right? So it's the same thing as when you borrow money. Now, when you borrow money, like you have a credit card, say with one of the department stores, they're going to charge you much more than 10%, you know, because you don't even get 10% of today's market though, but they're going to charge you maybe 22%, 23%, 24% on your money. So remember I said last week that should you have charged, say, like $4,000 on a credit card, and if your minimum payment is only, say, $15, it'll take you a very, very long time to pay that off. Maybe something like 10, 12, 15 years of only paying the minimum, see, because you're only paying the minimum amount. So you always want to pay more than the minimum. If your minimum payment is $10, you want to try and send 30 or 40 or 50 if you can afford to do that, so that you can get it paid off as quickly as possible. Because the longer it takes you to pay the money off, the more money they will make off of you. So you want to keep debt down to a minimum. Okay, now what I want you to do, oh yeah, we did talk also about a bond. Bond has some of the characteristics of a bond is that it has a coupon. The coupon is like the amount of interest that the bond will pay, right? And then the bond also have a maturity, meaning that the bond may be a 5-year bond. If I buy a bond for a 5-year bond, that means that bond will not mature. What does mature mean? You don't have to pay it off until what? 5 years. That's when it matures. But sometimes these bonds have a call date before maturity. Like it may have a call date of 1 year. So that means that they could call that bond away from me, say within 1 year. Now, so think about this. Suppose that I buy a bond, and I buy the bond today's market, and I'm getting, say, 4% interest. But it has a call provision on it. It has a call provision on it. Supposing interest rates go up to, say, 5%. I bought it at 4%. But supposing interest rate goes up to 5%. What do you think the owner of that bond, what will they do with that? Will they call that bond away from me in 1 year, or will they let me keep that bond until maturity if it has a call date of 1 year? I bought it at 4%. Now the interest rates, say 6 months later, I say a year later, have gone up to 5%. Now, say you're the owner of the bond. Would you what would you do? When you call it away, that means that you're buying it, you're getting it back from me, you're acquiring it back from me. What would you do? Would you let me keep that bond for the full 5 years, or would you just go ahead and buy it back when the interest rate have gone up to 5%? Make sure, see if you understand what I'm saying. Yes.
Buy it back.
You would buy it back.
Because it's worth more money.
Because it's worth more. Yes.
Now keep in mind, you've got to pay me 4%. You've got to pay me 4%. See, the 4% can't change. It can't change, but interest rates have gone up, you see, to 5%. But it's, you see, I'm not going to get any more than the 4. But if you want to, you can call the bond away within 1 year, depending on whether interest rates go up or interest rates go down. So if interest rates go up to 5%, what do you think you'd do?
We'll buy it. I mean, we'll try call you and let you have it till the end of the 5 years.
That's outstanding. That's exactly what you would do. You would let me keep that bond until maturity, because you only have to give me 4%, because it's not going to go any higher than the 4%, you see, even though interest rates have gone up. I'm stuck with it.
And that's money that they owe you.
That's right, you see. So, see, I bought the bond, but the bond has a 4% interest coupon, but some of these bonds, as I mentioned, they can buy it back within, say, before maturity, depending on the conditions of the bond. So if interest rates have gone up to 5%, well, that's just too bad for me. Now, what if interest rates go, say I bought the bond at 4% and interest rates have gone down, and now it's 1 year later, and interest rates have gone down to now 3%, but my bond is at 4%. What do you do now, Mr. Bond owner?
I'll get it.
You give it back? Yes.
I'll keep it until to maturity or something.
Yes.
Keep it till maturity.
Yes,
I'll buy it back.
that's right, absolutely. And why would you buy it back?
Because it keeps getting lower. every
That's
time,
right.
That's more money.
Why pay me 4%
You're not even-
when rates have gone down to 3%? So you'll buy that bond back and put it back in the market, you know, that'll be to a better advantage to you. Okay, now what I want you to do now, did you have a question?
No.
I want you to hold up these newspapers that you have in front of you. Everyone hold their paper up. Now don't block the writing now so they can see the headlines. Now right here it says bailout tab, 700 what? Billion dollars. What is that all about? But why? What is this bailout all about?
Something that happened that
Funding of wars.
Just stop.
Problems in the economy. Problems in the economy. Some of the insurance companies are going down. Some of the investment companies are filing bankruptcy, like Lehman filed bankruptcy and had to be bailed out. Some of the banks had to be bailed out. Remember WAMU? They're having problems. They had to be bailed out. And let's see, there's this one.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a problem. We have problems with the economy. Now I want you to read what I have outlined there in yellow. Stand up so they can read it. Read it nice and loud.
Okay. Unveiling its plan to rescue the nation's financial system from near paralysis, the Bush administration is asking Congress for the authority to spend $700 billion and for powers to intervene in the economy, so sweeping that they have virtually no precedent in U.S. history.
So the economy was in a very serious condition here. In order to keep, in order to provide some sort of stability to the economy, the federal government had to step in and bail these failed companies out, you see. And as we'll look here at the bottom of this article, here it says here, the golden years have lost their glow. Now this lady here, of course, had retired. And she had retired and she had her funds invested in the stock market. We said the stock market is going what? Up and down, right? So that's the market, that's an organized system where stocks are traded on a daily basis. And I think she had roughly $750,000 in her retirement that she had planned to live, the rest of her life on. But because her stock value had gone down, I think it's something like, what was it, 30% or something? So she had lost $250,000. So the 750 had gone down to now only $500,000. So now what does she has to do? Yes.
She has to try to either wait till it goes up or get another job.
That's the right answer. She's got to get a job. And she's 76 years old. She's already retired. So now she has to look around and try and get a job in order to what? Survive. Because she sees now almost $250,000 of her retirement investment, where the stocks may have been valued at, say, $43 per share, has gone down to maybe $15 per share. Anyhow, she had lost an awful lot of money. According to the article, she had lost nearly $250,000 of her retirement. Okay, let's look at the next one. And that one says, tight credit puts state in a corner. So not only is the federal government, not only is we having problems on the federal level, but the state of California was having problems also in meeting its debts and in also borrowing money, you see, or selling bonds, as we've talked about. Okay, and then that has affected also the car industry. So they were having problems, selling cars. As you can see, it's trickled down and is affecting the overall economy. So people aren't able to make enough money to what? Pay their bills and just to live, you see. So it has very serious effects, you see, on the economy, as a whole. Okay, let's hold up the next paper. No, just the first.
Just the first one?
Just this folded. And that one says $2 trillion wiped out of retirement funds. $2 trillion, and folks, retirement funds have literally gone down because of the stock market has been, you've been hearing, been going up and down. Within the last week or so, it went down to its lowest in its 112-year history. Remember, we said stocks are what? These are ownerships in the company. As bonds, you are what? You're lending money to the company. But when your value of the stock goes down, you have what?
Less money.
Zero. If it goes down very, very low, you can end up with nothing. You see, as with bonds, you know, if there is some funds left, they have to settle with the bondholders first. But stockholders, when you have your funds invested all in only stocks, you see, you could virtually, of course, lose everything. So that particular paper says $2 trillion in retirement funds, you see, have gone down. Now let's hold your paper up.
Can we hold on? I'm ready.
Okay, now that one says fears of world recession deepens. Now what do you think they mean by, that's a new word for recession. What do you think the word recession means?
It's almost like an inflation.
The opposite. It's inflation. It means that the economy is declining. So usually it's defined like when there's been 2 consecutive quarters of a decline. So things are going down. You see, so people are really scared. You know, they're losing money in the stock market. Their 401, their retirement funds, you know, is dwindling. You know, and then a lot of people are losing their jobs because companies are failing. Lehman Brothers, which was one of the investment firms that failed, you know, so everyone that worked for them lost their jobs. So you're talking about thousands of people that are on the streets not without jobs. So you see, you know, you guys are really blessed if your parents are still working and have jobs that are able to, you know, take care of you and provide for you. Yes.
Hey, as a kid, I wanted to know, what was the Dow Jones? Like, this has something to do
The
with
Dow Jones?
stock?
Yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is what you're asking about. That's an index that kind of measures the health of stocks. That's what that does, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's an index that measures the health, you know, of certain stocks. And then I best remember the Dow Jones consists of the Dow Jones Industrial, which I believe is 30 industrial stocks. And then there's the Dow Jones Transportation, which is the railroads and airlines and let's see, the railroads and it's airlines and it's one other, and trucking. That's also in the Dow Jones. And then there's also then you have I think those are 30. I think those are 20 stocks. And then you have one of the Dow Jones, and then there's a Dow Jones Composite that measures all 3. So that's an index that actually measures the health, you see, of the stock of that particular of the stock market. So the Dow Jones covers roughly 65 different kinds of stocks. So that's an index that measures the health of stock. That's a very, very good question. Yes.
Like you were saying, a bunch of people got fired, and like, isn't it true that some of them got laid off?
But that's about the same thing, you see, because you're not getting a paycheck, you see. So they have to more or less, you know, try and draw what? Unemployment. You know, and unemployment, it lasts only for so long, but it's a big difference in their paycheck from what they was earning on their jobs as opposed to unemployment. So yeah, tens of thousands of people have lost their money, lost jobs. As a matter of fact, I think those nationwide that have lost jobs is something like 360,000 people throughout our entire economy that have actually lost jobs. And the banking system are laying off. Every, you know, different systems or, you know, different industries are simply laying off. Okay, now we have our next paper. No, we're gonna come to that one last. Let's come to this one next. Okay, so that's a wild day capped worst stocks ever for stocks, you see. And so as you can see that the stock has gone down. We had talked about that, up and down, and we have the worst history, you see, in the history of the stock market, where they have gone down something a little over 1,000 points, you see. Okay? Now we have
One
this.
second.
Okay, now that one says, next steps, U.S. to bankroll banks. Now what do you think that means? Okay, Christopher. What does that mean? U.S. to bankroll banks. We've been going around talking about what's happening in the economy. Okay, Brian, what do you think, Brian? Ronnie, what do you think? What do you think that means? The U.S. to bankroll the banks. What do anybody think that means?
Like, banks.
Yes, you.
That they're losing more money because, like, since they already lost more money, now they're losing more money.
Well, you know, yeah, they're kind of on the track there. In essence, the U.S. is going to bankroll banks to the tune of that bailout money to $250 billion to help some of these banks with all of these bad loans, you see, that they have made, and for other situations that's regarding the banks, to kind of shore the banks up, you see. So the U.S. is stepping in essence, to try to, you know, again, to build up our economy that's having some very, very serious problems now. Okay, let's hold up the next paper. Let me see the title here. Okay, corporate bonds sliding along with stocks, that one says. Remember? Now, we said that the stocks are what? It's ownership in companies, and bonds are really when you're loaning money, you see, to bonds, but the value of the bonds, you see, is also going down too, because you see, with bonds, we have different kinds of bonds that have various kinds of investment grades, you know, like AAA that's usually the best grade, and then we have AA, which is still investment grade, and we have single A, which is also still good investment grade, and then you get down into the Bs, which could be, you know, somewhat less than investment grade, down to really, they call like junk bonds, you know, meaning that they're essentially junk bonds, you see. So they're not something that you want to, they're very high risk, basically, is what those kinds of bonds are. So even the bonds, you see, are now kind of sliding downhill. You see, so we're having some serious problems, see, in our economy now. Okay, what history tells us about the market? Now, what is the market? Now, don't anyone say it's where you go get milk and bread. I'm almost afraid to call on you. Okay, I don't know what you're gonna say. Okay, all right. What is the market?
The market is like where you get like money, like the marketing business.
That's pretty good. Okay. So the market is where really goods and services are bought and sold. You see, and the stock market is an organized exchange where stocks are sold. You see, in an organized fashion. Now, what they're talking about there is what history tells us about the market. They're talking about a very, very bad time that happened in that time, which was they said really the 1929 stock market crash, which was basically 1932, when people were so afraid that they was losing everything that they were literally jumping out of windows. Okay. They were killing themselves. I mean, now we talked briefly last time about what does the city treasurer do? What is my job? What is my job? Yes.
You ever see all the money that's put into Inglewood in like the parks and recreation and stuff?
Mm-hmm. My job is basically to invest all of the idle funds of the city. And see, it's not my job to earn the greatest amount of interest. My job is to earn the greatest amount of interest as safely as I can. So safety is very, very important. And then I want to make sure that I don't invest the money so far out. I mean, like I don't want to buy a 20-year bond. You know, put $30 million in a 20-year bond, and we may need funds, you see, in order to pay bills. We've got to pay the employees. You know, we have over 1,000 employees here, so we've got to pay employees. We have bills to pay. You know, the things that we're already paying for, the office supplies, equipment, and all of that, all those kinds of items. You see, so it's my job to make sure that I invest the money safely, make sure that it's liquid, and yield, or the amount of earnings that I will generate, is third, you see. So safety is paramount. Okay? Yes.
You said make sure the money is liquid. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so for example, say I only have $5 million to invest. And I know that we have bills here to pay the city. We gotta pay the employees, they get paid every 2 weeks. We gotta pay our bills, you know, things like that, right? And we have to do what? We have to pay for any other
Gas.
What was that?
Gas.
Yeah, gas for the cars. We got to pay the police. We got to pay all of that, you see. And I have $5 million to invest. So I said, oh, I think I'll buy a $5 million bond, and I'll buy it for 4 years. And I'll put $4 million of it out there for 4 years. And then we get the bills, and the bills are $1.5 million. What happens? You ask the question, what happens?
You just spend your money clearly.
I wasn't very wise, was I?
Yeah.
Was not wise at all. Because I did what?
You put all your eggs in a one basket.
You need diversify.
Yeah, well, basically, okay, what I did was, I only have $5 million, and we know that our bills are gonna be, say $1.5 million, but I put $4 million out there for 4 years. So that means I only got $1 million to pay the bills. I gotta wait 4 years before the other bond, matures, and I get the money back. So that means I'm short of money to pay the bills, so that means that I've got to liquidate that bond that I put out there for 4 years before it matures. You see, which I'm going to pay a penalty now. So it was not a very wise investment. So that's what liquid means, that I didn't keep enough money, intact to pay the bills. Like yourself, if you have your own apartment and your rent, in these days now, your rent may be say
$600
for maybe $1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment, a nice place. Okay, and your rent's going to be $1,500. And you gotta eat, so you know that you're gonna, you're a guy, you may not. How many of you guys know how to cook?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, that's great. Everybody, how many girls know how to cook? Okay, all right. So you're not gonna be eating out every day. You're gonna be conserving some of your money. Okay, so but you gotta buy groceries. So say your rent is $1,500, and say your food that you're gonna be spending for yourself is $500. So that's how much? $1,500 plus $2,000. And then you gotta pay your gas and utility. Let's just say it's another $200. How much money we're at now?
1,200. What
Okay.
about cable?
2,200. Okay.
Who needs cable?
All right.
I do.
Okay. All right. So you got cable, and that's another. That's another $150. Say $200. We keep the numbers easy. So what do we have now?
You gotta have your phone bill.
Okay. And what's all our other bills? Is another $300.
And 2,400.
The gas bill?
Say all of our expenses are gonna be like $2,800, and you earn. So you have your job now, and you're earning say.
5,000 a bill.
So you're earning $5,000. Okay, so you're earning $5,000 a month, but you're only getting paid, every other week. Okay, so you're earning $5,000 a week. Okay, so you're earning $5,000 a week, and your bills will say it's $3,000. So you got, you're gonna have taxes, so you're not gonna get that $2,000 clear. So say you're gonna clear maybe about.
1,000.
Well, let's hope you clear more than that. Let's say you cleared $1,500 after you paid all of your bills. Okay, so then you're okay. But if you're only earning say $4,000, you're in trouble, right?
Because you have to pay off the rest of it.
Yup.
Yeah, you don't have enough money to kind of.
Pay
He's
off
not
all the
spending
bills.
your money clearly.
Yeah, you don't.
Wisely, not clearly.
Yeah, so so you want to make sure that you see if you're earning $5,000 and that's your budget, that's your top of your budget, and of course you're going to have taxes, so you're not going to clear all of that. So say you're going to clear maybe $4,000 of it with all the taxes, and maybe you send some to your retirement plan also, because you want to plan retirement when you first get your job. You don't want to wait until you're 48 years old. When you first get your job and out of college, just say you're 24 years old. You start planning for your retirement right then and there. Start putting away for your retirement. You can't wait 20 years later. You want to start right then and there. So much coming out of your check for retirement, so that when when that number for you to retire comes about, you want to be able to retire, comfortably, rather than having to go out and perhaps get another job to supplement your income. Yes.
What do you have to be to retire?
Well, it's changing all the time. By the time you guys get there, it'll probably be 72 years old.
There.
Can you imagine, just creeping around, to the job, Yeah, so.
You better be working at McDonald's.
Yeah, so but see, what you want to keep in mind is that's why we want to impress the importance of investing. We talked about that rule of 72, remember? How long it takes money to do what?
Grow.
Double. And if the money is only earning 4%, it's going to take it how long to double? 4 to 72 is how many years?
4 to 72.
How many years? 4 to 72. How many years?
288.
4 goes into 72. How long? 18, remember? So it's gonna take it 18 years to double, right? So if you're 18 years old and you got, remember, if you're 18 years and you got $10,000, you will be what, 36 years old before that money doubles again. So that's why you wanna, that's why you wanna invest early. And if you would invest on a consistent basis, when you start from 24 until you say 45 or 46, 47 years old, you will literally be able to retire at 47 or 48 or 49 instead of 65 or 66 or 67. If you invest and leave the money there, don't take it out, just let the interest build and build and build and build. That's the importance of investing.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, Councilman Tabor has stopped by to in the class. So Councilman Tabor, just appreciate that you have stopped by and visited us a little while. Just give a little quick overview as to what your responsibilities are as councilman of District Number 1.
Okay, well, very, very briefly, I represent about 25,000 citizens of the city of Inglewood, residents of the city, children and adults, voting and non-voting, including the business community present there. District 1 is the northeasternmost part of the city of Inglewood, so from Van Ness to parts of it are La Brea, the other Century north to West Boulevard and Hyde Park are all, Vincent Park, the cemetery are all in the first district, but I cut out the Forum and Hollywood Park. They're in Ralph Franklin, Councilman Franklin's district in District 4. So it looks like you guys are covering a bit of history of the city's finances today. Is that where we are?
Yes, that and also current events, what's going on in the economy as a whole. So it's been a very interesting class today.
Well, I'm looking for an investment counselor. Any of these students ready to take on my, there we go. They got hands up. I love it.
They're all ready.
They're all ready. Okay.
They're all ready.
Well, excellent. Thank you for letting me interrupt you for a minute.
Thank you for stopping by.
All right. Take care. You didn't break your hand on the numbers, did you?
I'm not the oldest, I'm the youngest.
All right. So I meant that as a joke.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, Councilman Tabor has stopped by to in the class. So Councilman Tabor, just appreciate that you have stopped by and visited us a little while. Just give a little quick overview as to what your responsibilities are as councilman of District Number 1.
Okay, well, very, very briefly, I represent about 25,000 citizens of the city of Inglewood, residents of the city, children and adults, voting and non-voting, including the business community present there. District 1 is the northeasternmost part of the city of Inglewood, so from Van Ness to parts of it are La Brea, the other Century north to West Boulevard and Hyde Park are all, Vincent Park, the cemetery are all in the first district, but I cut out the Forum and Hollywood Park. They're in Ralph Franklin, Councilman Franklin's district in District 4. So it looks like you guys are covering a bit of history of the city's finances today. Is that where we are?
Yes, that and also current events, what's going on in the economy as a whole. So it's been a very interesting class today.
Well, I'm looking for an investment counselor. Any of these students ready to take on my, there we go. They got hands up. I love it.
They're all ready.
They're all ready. Okay.
They're all ready.
Well, excellent. Thank you for letting me interrupt you for a minute.
Thank you for stopping by.
All right. Take care. You didn't break your hand on the numbers, did you? I see you're wearing a cast there.
No, I got into a fight with Mike Tyson.
With Mike Tyson? I hate to see Mike. I hate to see Mike. Take care.
He tried to bite my teeth first.
God, you're watching that.
Okay. Okay, let's turn it back.
Office is in disarray. My chief of staff is supposed to have everybody, have them come in and change all these walls, and put bright walls, paneling here, which and a new carpet and everything. That probably will be 2 or 3 weeks from now. But be that as it may, usually when you come to my office, you see all kinds of plaques and awards. My wall was totally covered. There's some of them right behind you, stacked. From work that I have done over the years, what you're here for is to find out about the mayor's office. Responsible. He's the chief executive by charter. He's the chief executive of the city. When the council is not in session, the council is in charge of the city. That's the mayor and the 4 council members. We're called the council. We're called the council by charter. Our charter is what the state rules and regulations are to the state. Our charter serves the same purpose for the city of Inglewood. This is our city charter. This city charter spells out everything that the city can do and spells out the restrictions that the city can't do. This is the same as the Constitution of the state of California. And the Constitution of the state of California sets out and determines what laws. This is our charter. These are the rules of the city. General law city, which someone just mentioned, must follow the laws of the state of California. We only follow the state of California rules if there is a conflict with our rules, or if we specifically state in this charter that there are certain rules in California that we shall follow. Otherwise, these are our rules, and they take priority over the normal rules that most cities, but the general law city has to follow. These take priority for the city of Inglewood. And it's a good thing that we're a charter city because we can make our own rules. If we wanted to change this charter, we would have to take it before the people, the residents of Inglewood, which means it would have to go on the ballot. And the people of Inglewood would vote whether we can change anything in this charter that we want changed. The council, the mayor and the council can't change it. We have to take it to the people, and the people would have to vote to change this charter. That's how powerful this charter is. And we are bound to follow the charter. Now, the mayor's position, as I say, is the chief executive of the city. Every check that's cut by the city, the mayor's signature has to be on it. Every contract that the city enters into, the mayor's signature has to be on it. It can't be a legal contract unless the mayor signs it. That is per charter. That's what the charter dictates. It's not what I dictate. It's not what I want. I'd rather have somebody else do all of it, sign it. But the charter says I must sign those contracts. That's the reason sometimes I come in, my desk is like this, with contracts that I have to sign. So now, the mayor is really the spokesperson for the city. The council members, each one of them represent a district. There are 4 districts in the city of Inglewood. Each district has a council person that's elected by the people that live in that district to be over that district. For instance, the council person in the 1st district, only the people in the 1st district can vote for that council person. The same thing for the council person in the 3rd, 4th, or 2nd district. The people that live in the 2nd district cannot vote for the council person that lives in the 1st district. Now, for the mayor, everyone throughout the city votes for the mayor. So I represent the entire city, whereas the council people, they represent a district. But when we are on the dais, the council and the mayor, we vote for things to happen in the entire city. That means that the councilman in the 1st district may want something done in this district, but the council people in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th district may vote no. That means that the council person in the 1st district can't have it done because the council people in the other district said no, even though the people in the 1st district may want that done. That's how the system is run. It is basically an excellent system. And all the businesses that you see come into the city, the council must vote to permit them to come into the city. We set guidelines, and if they do not fit into the guideline that has been set, then they have to go before the planning commission planning commission may give them a variance, and then they have to come up before the council to approve that. So basically, whatever happens in the city, one way or the other, the council is going to have to approve it or disapprove it. And everything that the council passed, the mayor has to sign it. Ordinances, every ordinance, the mayor has to sign. All the resolutions, you'll see my name on, I have to sign those. Because as a general rule, they're contracts. And any contract, as I said earlier, I have to sign. I'm the public spokesperson for the city of Inglewood. When you're having grand openings, whether it's opening new businesses, restaurants, if someone is going to go there and speak on behalf of the city, that's one of the things that I do. Take pictures and they cut ribbons, that's one of the things that I do. But I also chair the council. I'm in charge of the council when we're in session. I'm the one that indicates how much time each council person is going to have to speak on one of the agenda items. I'm also the one that determines how much time the public is going to have when they come up to speak. We've set it at 3 minutes, but I can cut that to 2 minutes if I want to. If I decide there's so many people, we can't have them all speak in 3 minutes. I could cut it down to 1 minute. That is what the chair of the council can do. That's what the mayor is. The mayor is the chair of the council. The mayor is the chair of the finance committee, the housing committee. There are several other committees too. I think we have about 4. I don't have a book here. But I'm the chair. The redevelopment. I'm the chair of all of those committees, and when they meet, I'm the one that chair them. That's what the mayor does. The mayor is also individuals that want to bring businesses into the city. As a general rule, they'll call the mayor. They'll come in and meet with me because I should have an idea as to what the city wants as far as businesses. I should have some idea as what the council wants. So I can give them an idea as to whether the city would approve the type of business they want to bring into the city. I can also give them an idea as to what they're going to have to go through in order to get it approved through the planning commission. So I have to have a concept of everything that's going on in the city. Police department, I have to know what's going on over there too. It's one of the things that the mayor should know. Not that I'm not going to be supervisor, I just need to know what's going on. In every department, I should have some idea as to what's going on in those departments. We have a city administrator that they will answer to the city administrator because I'm not going to run the city on a daily basis. That's the reason we hire a city administrator to do that. Even though I'm the city administrator's supervisor by charter, the city administrator has to answer to me. That's, again, that's what the charter dictates. The police department, when the council is not in session, the mayor is the one that, by charter, that's in charge of the city. Thank God I don't have to make all those decisions. That's why we have a lot of staff to make those type of decisions. But the mayor's vision sets policy as to where this city should be going. All those businesses you see that opened up over on Century Boulevard, all those young people working over there, that was my vision. Since I've been in office, that's one of the things I've worked for. Also, the mayor must work with the school district. That's one of the things that I have been very interested in, is seeing the school district with new schools. And you're building some new schools now. The other thing that I was working with Dr. Powell to create a construction academy. And they were getting ready to start that in Morningside, where young people could go to this construction academy, and by the time they graduate, that have maybe a year in an apprentice program in one of the trades. That's what I wanted to see happen. And of course, if that is eventually brought to fruition, that means that a youngster, whether a male or female, that would graduate and go through this construction academy, have 1 year in an apprentice program, that means you could get out and whatever that you had that 1 year in, you could get out and get a job starting off making $35, $40 an hour. That was one of the reasons that I wanted this brought to the city of Inglewood, this construction academy where you could learn carpentry, plumbing, electricity, cement finishing. You could learn it all, everything that's necessary to build a building. You'd be able to learn that. That's what Dr. Powell was working on, and they're just getting ready to start the basics of it in Morningside. And I don't know where that is now. But these are some of the things that the mayor does, is try to come up with ideas to move the city forward. Now, you have any questions? Must be pretty good. I've answered all of your questions. You may ask, well, what kind of training does the mayor have to have? The mayor does not have to have any training. He just has to be able to be elected. I would suggest that the mayor does need training, though. Fortunately, I have training. I'm a lawyer. I was a judge for many years before I became mayor. And I'm sure if you have older sisters and brothers, some of your sisters and brothers may have come before me when I was on the bench. I worked here in Inglewood as a juvenile court judge for many years, and many individuals used to say I was the toughest judge on the bench, but I was also the fairest. See, they came into my jurisdiction, you had to go to school. Not only go to school, you had to maintain at least a C in each class. Not a C average, but a C in each class, and I would have you tested. If I had you tested, and it shows that you were capable of doing it and you weren't doing it, you get one chance. Then if you didn't do it, I'd take you out of the home and place you where you would have a choice. Education is the key to success. Each of you must understand that. The only chance that you have in life with true success is through education. Education separates the haves from the have-nots. You see the people with education, they have. You see most people without an education, they're the have-nots. They don't have. They're struggling, trying to live from paycheck to paycheck. Those with an education, they have a chance in life. People used to say, from your neck up, one cannot say how much you're worth. From your neck down, they figure about 98 cents.
Mayor Brian had created a...
Yes.
What's a resolution?
A resolution is where there is a contract or contracts that is brought before the council. There's some things that the council wants done, whether it is to pay people a certain salary or to do some things in the city. Well, they can do it by way of a resolution, and that's brought before the city council. And the city council votes on that resolution. Now, if it takes 3 people present in the city council to vote, and if 2 of those people vote for the resolution to pass, that means whether they're raising salaries or whether they cutting back on positions, whether they're creating new positions. These are things that the resolution can do. And if 2 people vote for it, that resolution passed, and it becomes instantly the law as far as what the resolution, whatever the resolution is stating is going to happen. That will happen. Now, there's also an ordinance. With an ordinance, well, first of all, it takes 3 votes to pass any ordinance. And the first thing with an ordinance, it has to be read, or the council waives the reading of it. You can't vote on it then. Then you have to put it over for a week. And then the ordinance is brought back. Then we can vote on it. If it passed, it requires 3 votes to pass. And if it passed, then it's 30 days before the ordinance can become effective. An ordinance can do many things. It can also raise salaries. It can also create positions. It can also cause people to be fired. It can also cause the city to hire more police officers, cause the city to build a brand new police station. These are the things that an ordinance can do. But you have to have the first reading, and then you can vote on it the next week, and it requires 3 votes before it can pass. Resolution doesn't require 3 votes. That's the difference. And an ordinance, after it passed, it's 30 days before it can become effective. Resolution can become effective immediately. Resolution will become effective once it passed, as soon as I sign it. Then it becomes effective. That's the difference. Okay? Any other questions? Well, I certainly pray that each of you are doing well in school, and if you aren't, now's the time to begin to study. Because I'm telling you, education is the key. That's the key. That's the key to success, is education. And I see you don't have your pants dropped all the way down. That's a good thing if you don't, because when you do that, what you're doing, do you know who you're emulating? Who?
People in jail,
That's right. You're emulating prisoners, because the reason their pants was dropped way down, they didn't permit them to have belts. And if they happened to get a pair of pants that was too large, it would end up way down, and you see them like you see some of the young people. You see the prisoners going through the yards, holding their pants up. I know who would want to emulate a prisoner. Who would want to dress like a prisoner? Who would want to conduct themselves like a prisoner? Prisoner, you're locked up. People tell you what to do, tell you when to get up, tell you when to go to bed, tell you when you can eat, tell you what to wear. Why would anyone want to dress and act like a prisoner? Unless that's what they want to be. Now, if you want to be a prisoner, if you want to be in a position where no one's going to hire you, no one's going to hire you with your pants hanging below your butt. No one. I don't care how qualified you are. You go looking for a job like that, you'll never get it. In any event, I pray that all of you will have great success in life. I know Ms. Brown is going to do it. Dr. Brown is going to do everything in her power to assist you with her program, and it's a great program. You should certainly thank her for what she's doing for you, because what you learn from her is going to be a great benefit to you as you go through school.
Okay, well, Mayor, thank you very much, and I certainly appreciate the wealth of information that you've shared with this group. It's a very good and bright group.
Good. So, that's what I like to hear.
It's one of my largest classes I've had.
I love to hear young people that are doing well in school, because that's what it's all about.
These are the winners here.
Good.
These are definitely winners.
Well,
all right, well, thank you very much.
Stay in school, keep your grades up, and either learn a great trade that's in demand or go to college.
That's right.
Go to college and learn you a great profession. One of the two. See, then you can drive those big cars that young people like to drive. You can live in that big house that young people love to live, love to see the football players and basketball players, what they live in. But you see, the ones that don't get an education, they start out living in those big homes, but a few years after their playing days is over, you find many of them on the corners, broke. They didn't even have enough education to keep the money that they earn.
We talked about that in class, didn't we?
Don't even have enough money, education to keep the money that they earn. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
All right. All right, we're going to head on back to the, all right, we get ready to start back in session. Now, we talked about where money came from. Who remembers where money, the source of money? Yes.
It starts at the U.S. Mint, it goes to the U.S. Treasury, then to the federal bonds, I think, then to the bank, federal bank.
And to the banks, Excellent. Now, the mayor, because we just talked, we just came from the mayor's office, and of course he was stressing, Brian, take your hands down. Okay, come on now, take your hands down. And the mayor said, we was talking about the importance of, you know, a good education, remember? So you, even though some of you want to be, you know, going to the music field and make all kinds of money and rapping and all that, and then some of them are making a great deal of money, of course, in that. Whatever your profession is, whether, you know, it's athletics or whether it's, you know, in some sort of field, you still want to be able to know, you still need a good education so that you can do what? Manage your money, you see. We talked about a lot of athletes who make a lot of money, and in their little, you know, 8 or 9 years when they're done playing, many of them become broke because they don't know how to manage their money. And keep in mind, in athletics, your lifetime of playing is pretty short. If you get hurt, it's even shorter, you know. So you keep in mind that, I'll be used on the contract, but keep in mind the life of a running back in football, how long you think that is?
6 years.
Is anywhere from 4 to maybe 8 years or 9 years, you know, depending, because, you know, that's a tough job, you know. And in basketball, you know, things happen, like in the Lakers. What happened?
Oh yeah,
He
got hurt. And
that's right, and he was, what is he, about 19 to 21 years old now? I think he went in at 17 or something. But he had a major injury to, I think one of his knees or something. I think it was his knee. He had to have major surgery. And I think the one thing that kind of saved him was that he just happened to be very, very young. Had he been an older basketball player, say had he been like 30, you know, that could have been a career-ending injury. Not that 30 is, you know, very old, but in athletics now, it is, remember? Because in general basketball, you know, you're really not going to play much past, what, age 35 generally, or 36, you know, you're getting kind of up there, you know. So that's why you need to, as you're earning all of this money, you need to be able to manage this money well, because you're going to be retired at 65, but at 35 perhaps, you know.
45.
So keep in mind, because your career may be over, you know, around about that age. You see, 35, 36, not many play much longer than that. So that's why you want to know how to, you want to always take some business course, no matter what you major in. Like I talked to this young lady who majored in fashion design, you know, but she didn't take any business subjects at all. She went to some sort of fashion design school, cost her $32,000 to get this degree in fashion design, and she thought she was going to be able to go to Nordstrom's and automatically start out as a buyer or dressing the mannequins and being in management. It didn't work out like that. They had her, you know, doing mediocre kind of work, you know, just working in the office, you know, answering the phones and doing things like that. And she made the bad mistake of not taking any business courses. So keep in mind, take some business courses when you're in college. Take something in accounting, take something in finance, so that you'll know something about money, how to manage money, you see. Okay, now homework is going to be on preparing a budget for, this is the city budget. No, that's yours. I thought I had an extra one. No, I want you to keep, I got something else. Let's get it right quick. But anyhow, we starting out with what, $125,000, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we start out with $125,000, and we have what, an array of expenses. So what you're to do is to fill in the blanks, and you have the information that goes here, and then you fill in the blanks and come up with whether or not we're going to have any money going into the next year, whether or not we're going to have a deficit. I mean, that we going in, you know, short of money. Okay, we don't have time for any questions because we're going to do the computer company now. I mean, the computer department. Okay, any questions on the homework? Yeah, what's your question?
What are the other two blanks for?
Well, you're gonna you add up the numbers and put the numbers on one column, and then you subtract that number from the $125,000 and get the answer.
Okay, I do.
Got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you need help, can we call you?
No. No, you'll be able to figure that one out. But yeah, but should you need assistance, don't hesitate to call the office. And the office, of course, numbers on all of the stationery. Yes.
What if you have a sister or brother that did this program and they know how to do it?
No, but this is for you to do, because I know your brother and sister went through it, but this is your turn now, okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
I can't ask for help.
No. All right, so that concludes this part for right now. We're going to go on to our computer department, where we're gonna learn about how the computers are utilized here at the City of Inglewood. It's about, take about another 10, 12 minutes. A very good explanation of that particular program. Assistant Administrator Michael Palco is going to give us that orientation, okay? So we're gonna go down into the basement, actually, and we're gonna go over that.
Do we have to bring our
Need to work on getting this money.
Need to work on getting the money, okay? All right.
What am I?
Council, all right, now, council staff, whatever you want to, what do you see as some of the things that we need to work on here at the city?
Well, I see that it's a lot of trash on the floor all the time. You know, we need more, less littering and have people clean up behind themselves and stuff.
Okay.
And whoever is littering get fines from now on.
A fine.
$200 ticket.
Okay, what do you think the amount of the ticket should be?
$200.
$200 for littering. Okay. Mr. City Administrator, do you agree with that? Is that might be a good source of revenue for the city?
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Okay. And City Attorney, is that illegal? Is that illegal that we could do, the City Attorney?
Yes, it is legal.
You've checked it out, and you're pretty sure that be no problems, that the city could enforce that with no problem? And are you in agreement, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, a few words. Mr. Councilman of District 2, Mr. Tidwell, what do you think of some of the problems of the city, or some of the things that the city might need to focus on?
People on the street.
People on the street. And what should we do about some of those things?
Get them off the streets.
Get them off the streets. Now, are you in agreement with that, Mr. Councilperson?
Yes.
And what's your name? Dylan. So you think that we need to get some of the people off the street also?
Yes.
Mr. Treasurer, do you think that might be a way that we might bring more money into the city?
If it's in our budget.
What's that again?
If it's in our budget.
If it's in our budget, okay. I see, and we have our staff here. Are you in agreement for the most part? You're in agreement? And Mr. Clerk, are you keeping records regarding all of these items? So we know we'll come to your office if we want to file a petition that we're not in agreement with some of that, so we would come to your office?
Yes, you will.
Okay, and you would provide us with whatever information that we need? Yes.
You haven't asked me a question.
Yes, and, oh yes, and Mr. Councilman over there, and what's your name? Of the 3rd District?
Joshua?
Joshua, what do you think that are some of the problems going on in your district?
They're not giving out enough money.
They're not giving out enough money in your district?
Yes.
I mean, you think that's one of the problems in your district? What about,
No. We need to get them, like he said about homeless people, let them be bumps.
do you think you might get elected again with that kind of attitude?
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
Yes, we have, our staff have she'd like to give some input here, yes.
No, I don't think that should be the great way. I think we should help the people that's homeless and, you know, find out things, help out people, you know.
By providing some sort of assistance?
Providing, yeah.
Yeah.
Clothes and food and stuff like that, to have everybody come together and give away all their stuff that they don't need.
Excellent. Mr. Mayor, what do you think about that? Can you offer some more insight into that, sir? How long have you been the mayor, as a matter of fact?
4 years.
4 years, okay, well, you should be able to give us some good insight here.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, in District 3, I haven't seen graffiti also in the streets. So we need to clear that also.
Need to clear that up. Okay, and the councilman next to you in the 4th District, would you identify yourself, your name?
My name is Daniel.
And so what do you think that some of the problems that's going on in your district? Are there any gang problems in your district, or any graffiti problems, or any lottery problems, or in your district?
Drunk people?
Drunk people. And what are you supposed to do about that? What do you propose to do about that, sir? Well, I think the treasurer may have some answers. Mr. Treasurer.
What we're supposed to do is find these drug dealers, get them out of our streets and away from the kids, so our kids can stay in school and stop being potheads. We're sick and tired of all this drug dealing, crack, cocaine in the streets with none of this nonsense. This is nonsense.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Treasurer. And how long have you been the treasurer?
I've been a treasurer all my life.
I would like to support his opinion. I think if we gave the youth more jobs, help them out with that, more programs to get them opportunities for jobs, there would be a lot less drug dealing, like my fellow city treasurer said, and we could focus on getting this money the right way.
Outstanding, Mr. City Administrator. Okay, well, that concludes this council session. So we're going to go on down now to the computer room. Administrator, and he's going to give us an overview.
This is fun. So how y'all doing?
Good.
Excellent. Sounds like you guys are having a good time. I feel bad that I'm going to take you away from all this. Yeah, we're going to go downstairs. First of all, let me give you a little background. My name is Michael Falco. I'm currently the acting assistant city administrator here for the city, but I'm also the IT director. It's actually my permanent position. Right now I reside up here on the 9th floor, and I attend the meetings quite frequently. If not in person, also I'll do it in my office. But I'm also in charge of all of the technology infrastructure throughout the city hall, the police department, and all of the outlying facilities. So what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of insight into the technology that we use here at the city. I'll take you down into our data center, down into the basement. We may have to go in 2 elevators, in which case I'll have to let you guys go down and meet me outside, because you can only get into the basement using a card key. So we'll do that, and you guys can feel free to ask any technology-centric questions that you'd like, and you can even ask questions specifically about what you've done today. As far as the city and how it operates, I can certainly assist you with that. Anything that our wonderful treasurer can't answer for you, I won't be able to answer, because if she can't answer it, I certainly can. But you guys, it sounds like you had a good time up here at the dais. This is really very interesting, and I can tell you that what you're learning, what you have the opportunity to see and understand, is really quite worthwhile. Understand that the way government operates all the way up through in the United States, you guys are old enough now to realize that in 19 days, all the people that are 18 and over who can will likely go out and vote. They'll be voting for a new president of the United States. And that is one of the key aspects of what civics or government is all about. And it's something that you have the opportunity, you can ask questions in a second, it's an opportunity to understand from the government all the way from the top, all the way down. And this is really where it starts, is at the local level, with obviously mayor, members of council, the elected treasurer, elected city clerk, and of course the administrative staff, such as myself, that assist and see to it that at the very lowest level, everything operates. And then we go up one level to the county, up another level to the state, and then of course another level to, of course, our federal government. It's very unique in the world, the way our government works, and it's something that you guys are having an opportunity to kind of experience very early on. I can tell you that in my career, it was all the way until I was in high school before I had the opportunity to experience what you guys are now experiencing now. And some of you, I can tell, are probably not in high school. Are you in high school yet? I didn't think so. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, so it's an opportunity. How many people are in high school? How many people are in high school? No, raise your hand if it's not true. Come on. Excellent. What grade? Huh? What grade are you in? Ninth. Excellent. Ready to go down? Okay. That's great. I had the opportunity to run, when I was in high school, for student government, and had then the opportunity to go and visit the local government in my area, which I live in Orange County. Had the opportunity to go to the city of Orange, meet the mayor. I met the various electeds, and I got to tell you, it was so enlightening. And I only see and wish now that I'd had that opportunity sooner, because I would have had a much better appreciation for all that goes into just keeping the city operational. And it's not just the police department, because you see the police officers driving in the patrol cars. It's not just the folks in public works that keep the roads and the traffic lights going, the trees trimmed in parks and recreation, and the pool open, and so forth. We're talking about all of the infrastructure, like, for example, the electronic equipment right here in this room, the cameras. All the computers, every single computer. There's 1,004 employees here in the city, and I'm responsible for every piece of technology and telecommunications equipment that touches any one of those employees, including everything in the patrol cars. So what you're about to see is the hub or the central point of where all that technology comes to. That's why we have card access, and it's fairly secure location. There's only a certain number of folks that can get in here. We actually do have a mainframe still, which is surprisingly enough a little box way in the back. That's what you'll see over here. This green screen, which looks really old, doesn't look like Windows. It's about 25 years old. I know it sounds silly, but yes, indeed, it still works. Yes, sir.
Been there for 25 years?
That monitor might be about 10 or 12 years old, but the mainframe itself is still here. It's 25 years old. We're in the process of migrating it and getting off of it completely. All of these computers that are in these racks, straight down the center there to my right, are about 65 servers that run all of those applications. And I couldn't even begin to name them all for you, but I could probably do about 10 or 15 of them. But we have a list and little diagrams to show what's where, because if we have a problem, we have to figure out where that problem is. Some of them are very critical. Email. Email has become a mission critical application. If email goes down, we have big problems. And let me tell you, I find out faster than you can imagine. My phone will ring within 2 minutes of email stopping. That's how fast. Somebody will instantly call up and say, email's not working. Okay, and sometimes it's something simple. It could be that we're getting a lot of spam. You guys know what spam is, right? Yeah. Sometimes, okay, how much spam do you guys think we get on a daily basis? How many?
100 billion.
100 billion, that's a big number. Not quite that high. How many? 1,000. Any more guess? One more guess? How many? A million? Okay, it's not quite a million, not quite 100 billion. We get between 75 and 100,000 messages per day, 24 hours a day, constant barrage of spam. And we have 2 software products that actually try to protect it so that the email boxes for every other one of those employees that I talked about doesn't just get totally loaded up with email. That's junk. Okay, we have enterprise storage. Now, obviously, data, just the actual bytes and bits, don't take up that much space. Turns out what takes up a lot of space is when we take paper and we don't want to see the paper anymore. Instead, what we do is we take and we scan it and we make a picture or an image of this paper. Turns out that this box right here, this big monster thing, looks like a monster refrigerator, holds 4 trillion bytes of data, 4 terabytes of data. So it goes kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. Anybody know what comes after terabyte? No? Next guess? What? Super big monster bytes? No, just kidding. All right, what comes after that is petabytes, then exabytes, zettabytes, and yottabytes. Don't think we're going to see those hopefully in our lifetime, but it's a tremendous amount of information. We have basically about 5 million pages worth of data just for the police department alone, right inside there. And we have another, several hundred thousand, about 600,000 for finance, and of course we have a number from a lot of the other departments. Yes, sir. Why is it so cold in here? That's a great question. If you'll let me slide by here, I'm going to show you. You guys notice that you think we're on the floor, right? Actually, we're not on the floor. We're actually on what's called a raised floor. You feel that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice and cool, isn't it? What rises?
Heat.
Heat. What goes down? Cold. Right. So we have all of our air conditioning is actually under the ground. It's actually under the floor. We have what's called a raised floor. So all the air which circulates underneath here is about maybe 62 degrees. If this air were to go off, and it has in the past, we have fans in the back for emergencies. If that actually goes off, it only takes about 12 minutes for this room to heat up to about 85 to 90 degrees. And that would, of course, damage the equipment. All of these servers here generate heat, just like any computer or TV would, right? We have to keep this room cool to prevent those from overheating. And if we ever do have a power loss, we have a backup generator in the back that'll keep this going for about 4 hours, and then we have diesel generators that'll kick in, excuse me, that'll go for about 4 days. Yes.
Yeah, everybody said, say for instance you had an iPod,
Yeah.
you'd be able to hold a whole bunch of music,
Let's put it this way.
videos.
What's the biggest number you know? Don't tell me Google or Googleplex, because I know those are super huge. So trillion. You could count to a trillion. Well, not in your lifetime. Okay, but you know that it goes tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Well, let's just jump by 1,000. Billions, trillions. What comes after trillion? Anybody know? No? No? Anybody know? How about quadrillions? Anybody know what comes after quadrillion? Only if you know. Only if you know. No, Google, that's way out there. Google's huge. Google's 1 with 100 zeros. That's huge. So after you have quadrillion, okay, you have sextillion, octillion, nonillion, and decillion. Yes.
What happens to all these things?
Ah, let's talk about disaster preparedness. Okay, where do we live on? Well, okay, good job. We don't live in the sky. That's excellent. Okay, we live where? On top of a fault called the Newport-Inglewood Fault. So every time we have a little shaking, what do you think happens? Everybody gets scared because they think it's what? The big one. Guess what happens? Yes. The fault, when the fault moves, the building moves. Now this building is on rollers, the whole entire building. So when we had that earthquake the month or so back, the 5.4 I think it was out in San Bernardino, this building, I was up on the 9th floor where we were a little bit ago, shook for about 2.5 minutes. If this building was damaged and we couldn't even get in here, guess what happens to all the technology? It stops. That's right. And that's a problem. So we have disaster recovery capabilities. What's the very first thing you think you need in a major disaster? Communication. Absolutely right. I'm going to show you something right now. Follow me. You asked, I'm going to show you. Okay, that's unacceptable, right? So if you look behind you or in front of you, you see that big that big green box there that says Packstar 5500 on it? That is a military specification satellite telephone system. The satellite dish is part of a trailer that's stationed over at the City Service Center. And that device right there, when I power it up, along with some of the other components in the box to the right, will allow me to have satellite communications anywhere in the world. Despite whatever disaster there may be, when I fire that up, it's got its own power, it can run off of a generator, and I have cell phones, little flip phones, just like you guys might have, that would connect to that, and we would create our own little Inglewood cell network. And it will work at about a 4-mile diameter.
Can you get on the internet with that?
You can get on the internet with that, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you see that little teeny black antenna on the back, that looks just like a little Wi-Fi antenna that you might have at home, right? Yeah. Guess what? 300 foot, it's going to create a small wide area, a small Wi-Fi network, so I can bring notebook computers. You can see one on the counter back up there behind it. They can come in. The police officers have computers that we've given them. They'll be able to come up, turn it on, hit a button, boom, now they connect to that box. And what does that box connect to? The internet and also a satellite for telecommunications. Yes?
Why don't they just use walkie-talkie?
I want to thank Michael for just an excellent presentation of the data system here, and it was a very comprehensive presentation. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Let's give it a hand. You guys asked some very good questions.
Indeed, they did.
It's a smart group.
This is a great group.
Smart group.
And feel free to contact me at any time. Information is probably on the website. You can find me, or of course you can find me through Dr. Brown's office. And if you have any questions, especially for those of you who might be considering technology as a field, the city's always looking for good folks. So let me know.
That's right. All right. So
So
next
do good in
week.
school. That's the most
See you
important
next
thing.
week at 3:30.